What's up, guys? It is Chris back with another watch video, and today I am continuing my new series where we explore the watches of celebrities, historical figures, and watch collectors. Before I get into it though, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. So I've already done two other videos in this series where I talked about Donald Trump and Joe Biden and their watch choices, or watches that they've been pictured wearing. And I also went into the watch that Walt Disney actually wore, one of my personal heroes. So today I'm going to talk about three CEOs and their watch choices. These are American CEOs, and I'm going to be doing, like I said, this is a series, so I'll be doing other CEOs. I just chose three for this video to start out with, and I'm going to get right into it. So the first CEO I wanted to start with is Elon Musk, of course. The South African-born American entrepreneur and businessman who founded PayPal. He's probably best known for starting up Tesla and SpaceX. He's really kind of the real-life Tony Stark. Pretty amazing guy, genius, obviously a billionaire. So what kind of watch does someone like this wear? And you will be very, very surprised that he doesn't actually always wear a watch. So that's one thing. He's been spotted with bare wrists on many, many occasions. On the occasions where he does wear watches, he wears some weird watches. Besides Tesla branded watches, so these are watches that are really cheap quartz watches that just have Tesla on the dial, so that he wears those once in a while. He also wears an Omega Aquaterra, so not an incredibly expensive watch, but a very straightforward, very good everyday watch, and it's a really great watch, and I think a lot of collectors like the Aquaterra. It's sort of a do-all watch. It's sports, it's dressy, but you would think someone with this much money would buy something a little bit more extravagant, a little bit more expensive. He does own more expensive watches, and he's been pictured wearing a Parmigiani, which are more expensive. But again, it's not the Patek Philippe or Rolex you would expect. And you'll see a theme throughout some of the CEOs that I go through. They aren't that flashy, and they wear some really cool watches that aren't that extravagant. Parmigiani is pretty extravagant, but it's not really out of the ballpark, and especially on the secondary market, they're actually attainable. They're not very, very expensive watches. But one of the coolest watches that he wears is, he's been spotted wearing, and he wears actually very, very often, is the Carrera Caliber 1887 by Tag Heuer. He worked together with, or Tag Heuer worked together with SpaceX to create a limited edition chronograph watch back in 2012. And the CEO is still occasionally spotted wearing this watch today. It's limited to 2012 pieces, obviously to commemorate the year it was actually made. It has a little drawing of a rocket on the front and on the rear, and the rear is actually a tinted piece of sapphire crystal. And basically that rocket is actually a SpaceX rocket and capsule. The watch also sports the phrase "first Swiss watch in space" on the dial and on the case back, and that refers to Tag Heuer being used by John Glenn. John Glenn actually wore a Tag Heuer stopwatch on his wrist over his flight suit when being launched into orbit around the Earth. So really cool watch, and it's actually a very limited edition. These are actually going for a lot of money because of the tie-in with SpaceX. So very hard to get these watches, and a really cool watch, actually. Something I would love to see in hand. But these aren't extravagant watches. I think the SpaceX watch is around the $5,000 watch. That Parmigiani is probably in the neighborhood of around $10,000, and of course the Aquaterra anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 depending on the one that he has, and I believe it's just a straight time and date Aquaterra on a bracelet. So on the secondary market, these are around $3,000 maximum, and new he probably would have paid around $5,000. So nothing too incredibly out of the ballpark for the average person. Next, we have Steve Jobs. Now, if we're going to talk about practical watches, Steve Jobs was the co-founder of Apple Computers. He pioneered a series of revolutionary technologies, including the iPhone and the iPad, changing the way that people interact with technology. He was famous for being quirky with a love for simple, straightforward designs. He often could be seen wearing all black, mostly faded Levi's and a black turtleneck. So what kind of watch would a man who's so influential to the world wear? A Seiko Quartz 6431-6030. A very simple black case quartz watch with a very straightforward design with a white dial and very simple indices. Not a very big watch. I think it's around 37 millimeters or 38 millimeters. And it's very fitting to the man that wore it. He was a very simple guy, very straightforward. And as I mentioned, he wore black a lot. And that's what he liked. He liked to wear black. And his watch, of course, was black and white. Very, very straightforward. And he put a lot of that straightforwardness into his products, and that's why they are so successful. In 2016, after his death, the exact watch that he wore, that Seiko quartz watch, sold for a whopping $42,000, $42,500 at auction. Obviously, that's pretty crazy, but there are a lot of fans out there of Steve Jobs, and that watch was pretty special to him. It really does speak to who he was, and that's why I think it went for so much money. $42,000, a lot of money for a watch that probably retailed for around $100. Now, followers of Steve Jobs in 2017 got an opportunity to buy a reissue of this now famous watch when Seiko and Nano Universe recreated the Steve Jobs watch, and it was only for $177. Actually, a very good looking watch. They did it in two different colors. They added a black dial and a white dial, so you can get it in a black dial if you like that. And then, of course, the white dial, which was a very faithful recreation to that original Steve Jobs watch. Very, very cool, very interesting watch. Next on my list is Bill Gates, yet another CEO who's very, very, very conservative, not a flashy guy. He is the co-founder of Microsoft, a software engineer by trade, and a philanthropist. He became a billionaire at the age of 31. Although one of the richest people in the world, Bill Gates has been always very humble, and you can definitely see that in his choices in watches. Bill has been photographed wearing just one brand, and that brand is Casio. Recently, Bill has gotten a new Casio, and we'll get into that. However, before he got into that new Casio, the Casio that was his choice was the Casio Illuminator Sports Digital Chrono watch. That's the W214H-1AV. A watch that is currently available on Amazon for $33. I'll put a link to that watch in the description below. Pretty crazy when you think about it. And recently, he actually upgraded his watch. Yes, he upgraded from the Casio Illuminator to another watch. And as I mentioned, although he is one of the richest men in the world, he is not known to be flashy, and when he decided to upgrade his watch, he went with yet another Casio, and he decided to go with a Casio Duro. Yes, he didn't even spring for a sapphire crystal. The Casio Duro actually is a very good looking watch. It's a quartz watch, 100 meters water resistance. You have a rotating bezel on it. And it's a definitely a workhorse watch. You could wear this watch, and it's very, very durable. But it's kind of crazy when you think about him being the richest man one of the richest men in the world, and he wears a watch that retails for around $70. Again, I'll put a link to these watches if I can in the description, so you could take a look at them on Amazon. But insane that Bill Gates is such a conservative guy, such a humble guy, that he actually wears a $70 watch when he could literally afford any watch that he wants. Pretty cool when you think about it. And like I said, he didn't even spring for a sapphire crystal. I think that's kind of funny. I wonder if there's scratches on his mineral crystal on that Duro. Anyway, tell me what you think about these watches, about what these guys represent, and how much they have money to spend on watches, but yet they don't. I'll be doing other CEOs. I'm going to try and do Jeff Bezos. I know that he has some cool watches, and a few other CEOs and a few other, obviously, historical figures. I'm going to do some. I really like this sort of series. I hope you guys like it too. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, add a comment below. It's all helpful, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I also have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. Doesn't cost you anything extra. However, like I said, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.